Hey friends, Miss Missy here. I wanted to do some more animals with you because I had so much fun the other day when I did all the animals. So I picked 10 more animals. I had a couple families, a couple friends write in and email and text about different animals that they wanted to learn about. So went ahead and took those animals and then added some more. So we have 10 new animals to learn about. And I have a whole slew more for another day too. And then we are going to play a Where Do I Live game. So the first animal, are you ready? It's a gorilla. Gorillas live in Central Africa, way across the ocean from us. They like to live anywhere from swamp areas like the Amazon rainforest to forest areas that are a little bit more drier and not near rivers. There are two different species of gorilla. There's the eastern gorilla and there's the western gorilla. Real simple, right? They can live to be over 50 years old. These guys are herbivores. They like to eat leaves off of the trees. They like to eat plants and shrubs. They like fruit. They like the berries. Funny thing, they love ants. That's crazy. That's not an herb, right? It's not an herb. It's not a leaf. It's not a plant. It's an animal, right? An ant. The adult gorilla, the big guys here, can eat up to 50 pounds of food a day. That's a lot of food. My belly couldn't handle that. It is the largest of the primate species. They can grow to be 5.5 feet tall, which is just about as tall as Miss Missy, and over 400 pounds. That's crazy heavy. Their arms are way longer than their legs, and that's because they walk on their knuckles. They walk like this with their arms, their knuckles on the ground. Almost, sorry, I showed you all my notes. Almost like they're walking on their hands. The older a gorilla gets, the blacker his fur gets. Believe it or not, gorilla's fur starts out brown. And the older they get, the more black the fur turns. When they get older, like grandma and grandpa older, their hair actually starts to turn silver on their back. You can see this guy. Maybe it's just the way the picture is. But right here, it looks a little lighter and maybe some up here. His fur all along his back turns silver. Then they get a new name. They're still gorillas, but they're called a silverback gorilla. They, unfortunately, because of hunters, are on the endangered species list. So it is against the law to hurt these animals in any way because we don't want them to become extinct. And you remember what extinct means, right? Extinct means there's no more. They are all gone, just like the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are extinct. There's no more dinosaurs on the earth. We don't want gorillas to end up extinct. Right now they're in danger, which means they are being protected by the government. You can't hurt them. Their hands and feet are just like ours. So they have 5 fingers with an opposable thumb. This means their thumb can move all around just like our thumb. Kind of goes a little crazy. And they have 5 toes and feet just like we do. Pretty cool, huh? When gorillas are brought into captivity, which means they are no longer out in the forests and the jungles, and they live in zoos or in cages or even an animal rehab center so they get, if they're sick, they can get made to feel better or even have babies. When they're in captivity, guess what? They can talk to us. They use sign language, which some of my friends in classrooms, I know Miss Missy's classroom does, we use sign language for different things throughout the day. Gorillas can talk to people using sign language. They live in small groups, 5 or 6 gorillas to a group, and they're called a troop, just like Girl Scout troops. Believe it or not, these guys don't just sleep anywhere. They make a nest, just like birds do. And they sleep in nests at night. Pretty cool, huh? These are pretty cool animals. All right, are you ready? Let's see if you can tell me if this is a land animal or a sea animal. Oh, look at this guy. What's this? A walrus. A walrus can be a land and a sea animal. Their tusks, these things right here, just like an elephant has, are bigger than 3 feet long. Should I grab my ruler? Let's see. All right. Here we go. There's 1 foot. There's 2 feet. There's 3 feet. So the smallest tusks measure at 3 feet. Look at that. Those things are huge. It's a good thing our teeth aren't that big. And they're made of ivory, which makes these guys really hunted, just like an elephant. Those ivory tusks, they're worth a lot of money, unfortunately. So they're hunted for that. Here's a funny thing. The longer a walrus's tusk is, the more popular he is with all the other walruses. How crazy is that? The boy walruses whistle. Yep. To get the girls' attention. Oh boy. Baby walruses, when the mommies have babies in their belly, they have them in there for 15 months. That's over a year. Crazy. The very first walrus existed 6 million years ago, and instead of 2 tusks, they had 4. Could you imagine? They had this big set on the top, and they also had a set on the bottom. Craziness. Their name, walrus, actually means tooth-walking seahorse. How silly is that? Their skin has a very, very thick layer of flubber underneath. Remember we talked about flubber with polar bears when we talked about polar bears last week. Flubber, or blubber, makes the walruses stay nice and warm. So when they're in and out of that frigid, cold Arctic water, they're not cold. It keeps them warm. It keeps their bodies warm. Let's see. Their mouth can open up really wide because when walruses are in the water, they like to go down to the bottom floor, the sea floor, and they like to eat all the crustaceans, all the shellfish, the lobsters, the crabs, the clams, the oysters, whatever kind of shellfish they can find down there. And their mouth opens like this. And then it seals all around it like, and they make a vacuum. And that's exactly how they open the shellfish. They vacuum, they suck that right in there with their lips, and it cracks the shell and pulls the animal right out of the shell. These guys, I'm jealous, can sleep for 19 hours a day. Crazy, isn't it? That's a lot. That's almost the entire day. So if there's 24 hours in a day, and these guys sleep for 19, let's count, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, that means they're only awake for 5 hours a day. Ugh, could you imagine? That would be kind of cool, actually. I could use a day of sleep like that. And they can dive deeper than 300 feet. That's way deeper than we can go without some kind of diving stuff on. All right, are you ready? This guy is one of my favorites. You ready? He's gorgeous. Check that out. It's a butterfly, but it's not just any kind of butterfly. This butterfly is exclusive, which means you can only find it in the Amazon rainforest in South America. Yep, this guy is called the blue morpho butterfly. He's one of the largest butterflies in the entire world. And when his wings are out all the way, he's 6 inches long. So, little butterflies are little, right? This guy, when his wings are out all the way, is that big. Yep, here's my paper. Check that out. Pretty cool, huh? This guy is blue only on the top. But here's the trick. He's not really blue. He's got pigment or coloring on the back of his wings that sparkles in the sun. And when it sparkles, that's when it looks like it's blue. Pretty cool, huh? The whole underside of this guy is tan and brown. And it actually looks like he's got eyes in 4 different places on his wings. Those eyes, when animals are looking up from the ground, up at the butterfly when they're flying, it looks like eyes are looking down at them, so other animals don't try to eat them. Pretty cool, huh? That's kind of like a camouflage. Let's see. There's 29 different kinds of this butterfly in the Amazon rainforest. Here's another weird thing. They smell. They don't smell pretty either. Their front legs, you can't see him because he's standing on them right now. Their front legs put out a really gross odor, kind of like a tube. And it makes other animals stay away because they don't like that smell. Only the male morpho butterfly looks like it's blue. The females are all yellow and brown and black all over their body, kind of like the very edge of his wings. Only the boys look like they're blue. These guys are mostly active during the day in the sunlight. They like when it's warm. A lot of times you'll see butterflies out when it's nice out because they are soaking up the sun and they're traveling to flowers to drink the nectar out of flowers. And just like the butterflies that we see, their tongue has a whole little antenna looking thing. It rolls out just like a straw. And they put it in the center of a flower, and that's how they drink all the nectar out of the flower. And here's something else really cool. Those 2 antennae at the top of their head and their feet is where their sense of taste and their sense of smell is. The antenna is responsible for the sense of smell, and their feet is responsible for the sense of taste. So if a flower does not smell sweet or taste sweet to the feet, that butterfly won't drink the nectar. How cool is that? All right, let's see. This is a fun one. Anybody know what this is? It's a sloth. These guys are land animals. There are 2 types of sloths. There's either one that has 2 toes or 3 toes. That's it. But there are 6 different kinds of species, which means there's 6 different names of sloths. Let me see. They are related to anteaters and armadillos. They move incredibly slow. It takes them forever to get where they're going. These guys like to live in trees. That's where you'll find most sloths, in the jungles of Central and South America. But you gotta look up because they're in the trees. They don't really move too much on land. They like to stick up in the trees. They can get between 50 and 60 centimeters long. They're mainly herbivores, like this guy. He's chomping on a leaf. He looks like he's living his best life, isn't he? He's very happy. It takes forever for a sloth to digest its food. And when I say forever, we can usually digest our food a good hour after we eat, and it's all gone in our bodies, and it's broken up, and our bodies pull out the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need. These guys take days to digest their food. And because of that, they use so much energy to digest their food, That's why they move so slow. They have no energy left to move. They have extremely thick fur. Let's see, you can see a little bit like where he's clinging on the tree and down around his belly. They have really thick fur. And because they move so slow too, they're home to many animals. What? A sloth can be a home to another animal? I wonder. Their fur is so thick, it provides a home for beetles, cockroaches, fungus, algae, and moss. All live in that fur. And because that algae lives on its fur and can grow on its fur, it actually changes the color of the sloth's fur to a green looking color, just like the algae. Yeah. Their tongues, are you ready for this? Their tongues are 10 to 12 inches long. Are you ready? Here's 10. Here's 12. Could you imagine? My tongue ain't that long. That's how long their tongues are. Crazy. They have very, I don't know if you can see, not on the picture. They have maybe this one right there. See those two things right there? They have very, very long and sharp claws that help them climb and dig into trees so that they can hold on. Pretty interesting. All right. Oh, I know this will be some of my friends' favorites. Are you ready? Is it a land animal or a sea animal? I'm getting a little scared. Ugh, shark. These are strictly sea animals. Funny thing, I did not know this. Sharks do not have any bones in their body. Nope, not a one. Like we have bones in our fingers and in our wrists and in our arms and legs and our cheeks and our jaws and our head. Sharks, none, nowhere. Their bone-like structures in their body is actually made up of the same thing that our ears are made up of and our nose. And it's a really hard cartilage. They have great eyesight and they can see in the dark. Yep. Really easy for a shark to see in the dark. And they can see in color too, which I never knew. I just thought it was black and white. Nope, they can see colors just like me and you. So they can see all those colorful fish in the sea that lives there with them. And they can see the sun when they come up to the surface. And they can see animals on the surface like seals and walruses. Let's see. They have small black spots near their nose, their eyes, and their mouth. These spots are responsible to sense the temperature shifts in the water. So if sharks are swimming, and some sharks like cold water and some sharks like warmer water. But if a shark is swimming and it feels like that water is a little bit colder than that shark likes, those spots by their eyes, their nose, and their mouth pick up on that temperature change. So that shark can turn around and go back to the waters that he should be in so he doesn't get sick. Their skin feels just like sandpaper. I know mommies and daddies probably have a little bit of sandpaper at home. So ask them if you can feel it. And you can close your eyes and you can pretend you're petting a shark skin. Crazy. They have been around for 455 million years. Yep. And they're trying to learn a way to be able to count just how old a shark really is. But in the back, by their tail, inside, underneath their skin, we have spines, right? People have spines under their skin on their back. And our spines are made up of vertebrae. Well, it's the same thing with a shark's tail, although their vertebrae is made out of cartilage and ours is made out of bone. On each of those vertebrae, there's round rings. And scientists are trying to decide if those round rings inside a shark's vertebrae can tell how old a shark really is. It's pretty cool. I'll be interested to see if that's exactly how they can tell how old a shark is. Most sharks have to always be swimming. See these right here? Those are called gills. And when a shark swims, Miss Missy can't talk today. When a shark swims, he takes in a lot of water from that ocean. Those gills filter out the water and the oxygen. They allow the oxygen to go to the shark's brain, but all through the shark's body, and it spits out the water that's left over. So it pulls all that oxygen from the water and gets rid of the rest of the water. All right, let's see. I don't want to be on as long as I was before. I was having crazy. Check out this guy. He is a land animal. This is a lion. There are 8 different species of lions. And in Africa, in African language, the word lion, get this, means Simba. Just like in The Lion King. How cool is that? It's the only type of cat that likes to live in groups. And one group can have more than 30 lions in it at a time. It's like a whole little family. But we call a group of lions a pride. The females are the main hunters. They love to hunt and bring back food to the rest of the pride. While the males guard the territory. They like to make sure that no other animal tries to take over their land. And they also protect the young. So while the females are out hunting the food, the males, the boys, are home taking care of the little ones. They live in dry savanna grasslands in sub-Saharan Africa. So the only really place that you can see these guys is near the desert in Africa. These guys, again, are hunted. And because of this, they are also on the endangered species list. So we want to be careful and we want to preserve them. And there's a website called Folly Farm for parents that you guys can actually go on and adopt a lion. Yep, it's pretty cool. Miss Missy and Brady are going to do it. These guys are carnivores and they eat mostly zebra, deer, wildebeest, and hyenas that are killed by other animals. Their fur, skin, and bones of other animals they use to clean the teeth. Pretty cool. So they chop on that, and it's like a homemade toothbrush for a lion. The males, let's say, the males are the only ones with the big, thick hair, the big mane around their face. Females don't have that. They don't have the poofy hair, just the males. I guess they like to have the good hair days, huh? Let's see. How about one more for today? Well, we'll see. Are you ready? Check this guy out. This is called a poison dart frog. Oh my goodness, I can't talk. Poison dart frog. They only live in the Amazon rainforest. Yep, they're 2.5 to 2 inches long, so they can be very, very little or about that big. That's it. They don't get much bigger than that. And they're brightly colored. They're blue and yellow and orange and red and green and vibrant, beautiful colors. But here's the key. The brighter the color is, the more toxic these guys are. These guys are very poisonous. You cannot pick them up. You cannot have them as pets. You cannot touch them. Their skin is always wet. And here's something that I didn't know. They're not naturally poisonous. Their favorite food to eat is a poisonous ant that lives also in the Amazon rainforest. That's how they get the poison in their body. They eat this ant and their bodies absorb like a sponge. They soak in all that poison from the ant and then their skin sweats. And that's how they get the poison out. That's what makes them poisonous. The poison sweats out of their skin onto their skin and makes them very wet and damp, and that's where the poison stays. Some of these guys, because the Amazon rainforest has been being cut down and destroyed, some of these guys now, unfortunately, are extinct, which means there are no more. They're all gone, just like the dinosaurs. Some of them are still on the endangered species list. They love warm and humid climates, which is why they live in the Amazon. Let me see. Sometimes zoos, I know the zoo, or the aquarium, not zoo, aquariums might have an exhibit of a poison dart frog. The aquarium that Miss Missy used to, when I used to live before I come down here, the aquarium up there has a huge tank. It's like a homemade rainforest in there, and they have a lot of these guys in there. They're really cool to look at. And like I said, they can be little or they can be big. But you never want to try to touch them. No, 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 no. Let me see. I think that's it for today, guys. I've got a bunch more animals that we can talk about on a later day. So we'll see you tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's Wednesday, so it's Matt and Molly Day. All right, everybody, have a good night, and we'll talk to you later.